Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. So today we're down here at Blackie's camp at Steep Point. It's a magnificent camp. I've never actually stayed at this one before. We stayed at one couple of k's up in Shelter Bay, which is basically the edge of Shelter Bay this is. Anyway, so this, I can't remember how much it was. It wasn't really that much per night. It's unpowered. There is a toilet up into the dunes. It's just a long drop, I believe. Anyway, so this episode we're actually here to give you a rundown of a bit of an Overland rooftop tent inspiration for you, whether you should or shouldn't do this yourself. Anyway, we'll get into the video. As you can see, we've got a OCAM 4x4, one of the sideways rooftops. So they don't, to what I believe, they don't actually make this rooftop anymore. We've had it for about 18 months. And at the start, we were loving it, and it was everything we thought we wanted it to be and more in a rooftop. And to be honest, it's not. Probably more or less the design of the shape of the rooftop, not so much the rooftop specifically, the OCAM 4x4 one. It's more or less the sideways one. So I'll spin you around. It's not really that windy here. As you can see, there are birds chirping. There's not really much swell down here either. So it is flapping around just a little bit. I've only quickly slapped it together, but it can't really get much tighter than that. And you've really only got the backing part to protect you from the wind. Other than that, you've got like the top, the front, the backside and the backside, the two ends in the wind constantly, versus a normal A-frame rooftop tent in particular, which really is more taut in the canvas once the gas struts are pushed up, whereas this is relying on like metal. I'll take you up there so you can see, on like metal expanders poles basically to sort of taut it. So as you can see, there's one there, there's another one in the corner, there's one in the opposite corner, and there's another one at the top here. Yeah, as you can see, it already is flapping around in here. Like, it's not the greatest thing to sleep in the wind, that's for sure. Now, should you buy a rooftop tent? This is a bit of a dilemma everyone has when coming from a swag. Everyone seems to say, you can't take your car with you with your camp set up. I'll show you where I am. So you can see here, the beach is quite stunning here at Steep Point. So there's no real reason for you to want to leave here. So in this situation, it's great. But the reality is, if you're into a one-night camping, it's fine. If you're not, it's not quite so fine, which is what we've discovered on this trip. It's not necessarily everything that we've wanted it to be, and I think this might be the last trip that we may spend in a rooftop tent. I'm not necessarily saying we're going to get rid of it. We've got other ideas in mind to be able to keep it. As we've already sort of discussed, the problem with a rooftop tent, if you're the sort of person that likes to stay in one camp for a night and move on, etc., it is great for that application. Now, if you want to set up and that is your base camp and that is your everything, leave your car there and you're going to do everything from that location, then it's also a great situation for it as well. The problem lays with a rooftop tent is when your base camp is your base camp and you want to go traveling outside of there, and that's when it really becomes an issue, which is sort of as we sort of discovered on this trip that we've been away from home on for the last 5 weeks. And we sort of discovered we have spent a few nights in the odd caravan park as well, and we've done that just so we can clean our washing, all that sort of stuff. And we've used the caravan parks in the major towns as like our base in that situation. Now the problem is with that, we can't go anywhere with the rooftop tent set up. We also have an awning, so when we go to the beach we like to set that up, that's fine. In the caravan park we'll set it up occasionally, maybe if it's raining or if we're after a bit of shade, then we'll set it up. And then, yeah, so it's just something to really consider. Do you actually want a rooftop tent? Is it really the right-minded thing for you to actually go ahead and do? Because for ages we were umming and ahhing and a little bit reluctant because of this same situation that we were thinking of that we would actually come across. And when we're at home doing the odd trip just for the overnighters and stuff like that, it's great. We love it. But now we're away on an actual holiday, not just an overnight trip. It's not really that great, and it's not really all that what it's meant to be chuffed up to be. Anyway, what are the great things about it? Well, look, if you pull up to a camp, it's quick and easy. You're off the ground. You're not setting up in the mud. You're not setting up in the dirt. Everything up there is basically relatively clean, and we haven't had to clean the rooftop up there at all. And we've spent basically 5 weeks straight of sleeping up there, whether it's beaches, out in the Pilbara, all the way up into the Kimberley, you name it, we've done it in it, and it's been great for that sense. So bearing that in mind, if you're wanting to travel Australia and you're not really going to have a base camp anywhere or that you can think of, it'll be a great thing for it. But if you do want to go to a town and spend, like a week at that one town as an example, you may actually regret it. I don't know, it's just something to actually think about before you go ahead and spend the money, because it is a lot more money than buying a swag. And to be honest, if you could buy a swag at half the cost of this, you're going to get a bloody good swag, and you're going to get some bloody good bedding for it and a bloody nice stretcher, you name it, for the swag. At half the cost, you're going to get basically all that you could dream of for your swag. So I don't know, it's not something... We've enjoyed the rooftop, so it's not like we haven't enjoyed it at all. Like, we have enjoyed it, and we have loved it. But it's just been the odd occasion where we're like, oh, it would be nice if we could have a swag tonight, just because, or for the week, just because we could just lay it out, set it up, have a table and our camp chairs all just set up there, and then we could bugger off for a couple of hours or go to the shops or whatever it is that we want to go and do. So in that sense, I don't know, it's just something for you to consider before you go out and actually buy one. Just consider what camping is it that you're actually doing at the moment and you actually do enjoy. Like whether it's with mates. If you're with mates and you're sitting on the beach drinking beers all day, all night, and do it for like 2 or 3 nights, that might be fun. But then if you want to go for a bit of a drive somewhere, go for a fish somewhere else, go up and down the dunes, whatever it is, you're a little bit limited to being able to... You're going to have to pack up your rooftop to go ahead and do that. It's just something to consider. We love the rooftop tent. If we were going to go again with it, we wouldn't get a sideways one. Like there's other companies like Drifter Stockman, I think they're called. They do one as well. Theirs was the one that actually caught our eye basically to start off with, and that's what we were originally going to go with. But then this one in particular came up from a mate who had actually purchased it and decided before he had received it that he didn't actually want it anymore. So he didn't actually, and he also changed his vehicle too, which made it sort of redundant as to where he could actually put the rooftop. So that's something else. If you got a wagon, I'd be a little bit more tempted to have a rooftop over a swag, just in the sense that you're going to be putting this bulky swag on the roof of your car. Like whether it's a troopy or any kind of wagon, really, it's going to be the same situation. Whereas a dual cab ute or a single cab ute, you can still put it on the top of your canopy or your roof rack of your dual cab if you want, but it is going to handle appallingly. We've done a trip quite recently which may or not come to YouTube. It might have been before this episode or it might be coming after. I'm not really too sure whether I'll release that episode yet. But we've done Mount Meharry and we got about 3/4 of the way up to the top. And now obviously we're in a dual cab cruiser, so with a well, it's not a full length, but it's a 3/4 length canopy on the back, and it handled like rubbish, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie about it. It was appallingly. We had wheel lifts, the angles of it weren't nice, you name it. It was crap. Anyway, so that's what sort of made us go, well, we've got a couple options. We can either put the rooftop tent and the canopy onto a trailer and build a trailer up as like a camping setup. Basically as a camper trailer, pretty much, but designed for the canopy and the rooftop to go on top of this trailer. And fully custom made, so it's got independent suspension. Do it the right way, not just slapped on a solid axle trailer. So we can take it out to remote places and enjoy it and know that it's not going to fall apart on us. The other option is scrap the canopy, scrap the rooftop. We're gonna want to have some kind of sealed compartment on the back anyway for when we are going away and doing our trips, and our longer trips in particular, not so much our weekend trips. Our weekend trips or one-nighters, we would probably stick to a swag and just throw everything on the back that we want to keep on the back, just like camp chairs and a fridge, and then go to a awning onto the roof of the car. And we've also got a gazebo too, so we could still slap that onto the back of the tray if we needed to, so we could have a base camp setup. Yeah, and then our other option was just to go out and buy a camper trailer, like a fold out one. You've got a few different ones. You got like the MDCs, your Opus campers, which are full fold out, or you can do your more modular style, which would be like your P-Core ones. Hardcore do one similar, a bit cheaper, and then Kings do one a hell of a lot cheaper than that again. So that's your other option. Your other option from there is to move into like hybrid caravan, so you can still do your off-road stuff with as well. Yeah, we're open-minded, so we're open to anything really. Put down any comments or any suggestions that you've seen as well. We've enjoyed the rooftop. It's been great. Like this situation, we're only here for one night. For what we're doing here tonight, this is great for it. And the other thing with the rooftop, it is, you can set up quickly, or you could set it up and have like a full tent set up. Like when I say that, I'm talking about put out all the rest of your stuff, set up a couple of hours early, enjoy your sunset, and enjoy the area that you're in as well prior to the sun going down, which is what we're doing today. Yeah, anyway, so I'll give you guys a bit of a rundown of the camp setup as well. So we've got here, there's the car with the awning set up. This is actually a Rhino awning. Now I quite like these in particular because at the end here of the poles this is, let me bring it up a little bit more. It's actually like a plastic, like half a cup, like a U-shaped sort of thing, and that actually flexes. So if you don't tie down your awning, like if you've got it really nice weather, I've done it before, we've all done it, if you've had an awning for long enough, not worry about putting your guide where it's in, and then all of a sudden you get a small gust of wind and then it rips your awning over the roof of your car. Or if the ground is a bit hard for you to put pegs in or whatever, this not this in particular awning, the awning before we had from Rhino, that did go over the car. Now the advantage of those plastic cups is they're designed to flex. Now other awnings, if that was the case, that's basically scrap. Your awning is. The only thing you'd be doing with it when you get home is unbolting it and chucking it straight in the skip. That's about all it's good for. What else we got here? So we got our upright fridge, and then you're actually charging the off the solar blanket, which I only just bought this the other day because I had to buy another battery while we're away as well. That cost us a fortune. I had to buy a 200 amp hour lithium battery. When we were all the way up in Broome of WA, and then from there we had to supply power to it. The other thing, when we're airing up, because we've got a standard alternator still on the Cruiser, and as a lot of you guys know already, they are appalling. They don't provide enough charge for anything. So when we're charging the battery and airing the tyres up, the charger thinks that the voltage has dropped, so therefore it no longer charges that dual battery when you're using the compressor. We've got one of the ARB twin compressors, so it does use a lot of power. It's just something else to note. Yeah, anyway, with that guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Comment below if you've got any questions, or if you've got anything in particular that you have in mind, or suggestions on anything, whether it's camper trailer, hybrid caravan. If you've got a custom made trailer yourself and you've put your canopy onto that with a rooftop tent, or vice versa, if you have done your camper trailer actually, if you've made like a drawer setup underneath the canopy, so therefore it would basically reduce the center of gravity height of it, so it wouldn't be so tippy when you're off-road. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.